What is up, everybody? Hi, friends. We're actually going to start lying on our backs. Go ahead and gather any props you usually use. And then when you're ready, roll onto your back on your mat. Keep your knees bent, knees pointed up towards the sky, feet about hip distance. And lay everything flat so that your whole spine is connected to the floor. So you don't want to space here in your low back. Tuck the pelvis if you need to so that everything's lying flat on your back. And take a few seconds here to close your eyes and just feel out your breathing. Do your best to breathe in and out through the nose. Notice if your breath feels quick or hurried. If you can deepen and lengthen those inhales and exhales. And bring that awareness inside by closing up the eyes and just feeling how things are right here. How does the spine feel? Your legs, your head. Try and take the breath down deep into the belly so that every inhale expands up and out. And then as you exhale, it empties completely. A few more deep breaths here. And we're going to take arms up above the head, legs and feet out long, and take a big stretch like you're just waking up first thing in the morning, making yourself as tall and long as possible, wiggling out fingers and toes, maybe rotating the ankles, just feeling that nice big stretch, and then letting everything curl up into a little ball. Tuck the knees in towards your chest and push in on your shins to really press the thighs into your belly. Maybe take a little rock side to side. Feel the back and low back press into the floor. And then keeping the knees bent, now take the knees and just point them up towards the ceiling. You can use your hands on the floor next to your hips to stabilize yourself. We're going to take little circles like as if there's pencil points on your kneecaps, and we're trying to draw circles on the ceilings. So just taking this a few times, maybe 5 times, going one direction, feeling that low back massage into the floor, using the core to stabilize everything, and then take the circles the other way, drawing big circles on the ceiling, keeping the thighs and knees glued together. You can take these as slow as you want. Going slower makes it a little more difficult. Feel that out going both directions. And then when you're finished, bring everything back to the center. Hug the knees in tight. And then come back to that first position where our knees are bent, feet are planted on the floor, about hip distance. We're going to press into the floor with our heels in our hands and lift the pelvis up until we make a straight line from knees to shoulders in a nice little bridge pose. Using the core and our glutes and hamstrings to stabilize here. Breathing deep. In and out through the nose. One more deep breath here. Inhale all the way. And then take your entire exhale to lower the hips down to the floor once more. Wonderful. Hug the knees in tight and roll up to a seated position. or you can always just sit up any way you would like. Coming all the way forward so that you're on hands and knees in a tabletop on your mat. Hands are right underneath our shoulders, about shoulder distance apart. Knees right underneath the hips. Untuck your toes so the tops of your feet lay flat on the floor. Take a big inhale and reach the chest forward as you let the tailbone come up, belly drop low, and gaze come up. Inhale into a heavy cow pose, rocking the hips back and forth maybe. And then exhale to push the mat away and curl under to gaze at the belly button. Spread the shoulder blades apart. Cat, angry cat back. Again, take a little sway here, see if it feels good. Inhale back to cow, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Open the chest forward, bring the weight forward further over those hands and see how that changes things. Exhale, angry cat back, C curve in the spine. Shift the weight around, see how that feels for you. Take a few more rounds of this, moving the way your body wants to, moving with your own breath at whatever pace you need today. When you're finished, come back to a neutral spine in your tabletop position, and then let the bum come back towards the heels, reaching the hands forward into a child's pose. You can take the knees out wider if you feel that more effectively, letting the belly drop in between the thighs, but really reaching the hands towards the top of the mat, stretching out the spine, the shoulders, and the back. Inhale to come back to a seated position, coming up onto the knees. We're at the back of our mat, taking a big step forward with the right foot towards the top of the mat and sinking into a low lunge. This is where some blocks can come in handy if you use those regularly, to come on either side of the hips when the floor just feels a little bit too far away. Also an option to support yourself on this front knee. We want to try and stay vertical with the spine. This just lets gravity work and drive our hips down and more effectively opens up the hips on this left side. You'll feel it very strongly on the front of that left hip. Inhale nice and deep. As you sit here, you can challenge yourself to bring the arms up to the sky. Maybe let the hands meet in prayer. Deep inhales and exhales. From here, take hands to your hips, wherever variation you are, and tuck these back toes under. So left foot tucked under. We're gonna use just the strength in our legs to push up to a high lunge, lifting the back knee off the floor. Inhale here, exhale, push up until you've lifted that back knee up in your high lunge. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Nice and strong, trying to keep the back leg straight and a deep bend in the front knee. Lifting arms and gaze up to the sky. Nice and strong. Bring hands to heart, and we're going to step left foot up to the top of the mat to meet our right, but not standing. We're going to stop in our chair pose. So both knees bent. Right here at the top, we're still sitting deep, sitting the bum back in our chair. Hands can stay at your heart, or you can reach them up to the sky. Breathing deep. Our legs are already tired. Use that breath to give them strength. From here, we're peeling right foot off the mat. Left leg stays right where it is. And we step back to high lunge on the other side. Now left foot is forward, right leg is straight, and arms come to the sky in your lifted lunge, high lunge. Breathing here. Not letting ourselves ease out of this lunge, but keeping it deep. One more breath. And then slowly, with control, lowering the right knee down to the floor to your low lunge. You can untuck the back toes and take whatever arm placement works for you on this side, maybe grabbing your blocks or supporting yourself on the front knee. Breathing here. So strong, feeling the stretch on this side, keeping both hips pointed forward. And then again with control, bringing the weight towards the back knee, lifting left leg off the floor to place the left knee next to the right. Let the hands come forward to the top of the mat, tuck the toes under, and take a downward facing dog, lifting the hip to the sky, placing your feet hip distance, pressing the chest through your armpits, maybe keeping a bend in the knees as we just start to open up a bit in the hamstrings, shift weight side to side, alternate bending and straightening each leg. Take a few breaths here to stretch and do what feels good. Always striving for a nice long line through the spine from tailbone down to your wrists. When you're ready, inhale, come up onto your tippy toes, up onto the balls of the feet, straightening out the legs. Exhale, pushing and pressing the heels towards the floor as much as we can, and then taking a knee bend once more. Exhale here. Inhale, right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog, but we're keeping the toes pointed down, hips are closed off towards the floor. Flex that foot, even if it's just parallel to the floor, and do a few pulses straight up towards the sky with the heel. Feeling that turn on your glute, and everything else connected to the floor is staying nice and stable. Take this about 5 to 8 times, slowly pulsing that heel towards the sky. Nice and strong. And then finally letting that hip open, pointing the foot up towards the sky. Maybe taking a bend in the knee to open up that hip even further, and a nice little stretch. Inhale here. Exhale to bring that bent knee forward in between the hands into a half pigeon. So right knee comes towards right hand and the ankle next to left hand. This is where you can take we're going to keep this active before we stretch it through. So tuck the back toes under. Your left toes are tucked, and we're going to press into the right shin and the back toes and knee to lift this up off the floor. So toes and shin are connected to the floor. Everything else is lifted. An active pigeon pose. Hands can come to hips or heart or sky. Breathe here, keep it strong. Everything will start to shake, and that's okay. Inhale fully, and then exhale to release down into a pigeon stretch. So you can untuck the toes, stay vertical here, or maybe bring the head down onto a block or come down to the elbows to feel that stretch out. Just for a moment here, breathing. On your next inhale, come back up to a vertical position if you're not already there. We're going to tuck those back toes back under, press into the hands, and see if we can lift up using the core and our back and shoulders to lift this front knee off the floor and back to our three-legged dog. Lifting and shooting it back to the sky. Another little stretch, open up that hip. And then exhale to let that leg float back down to meet the other leg. Give a little wiggle in your down dog. See if maybe each hip is now feeling a bit different, and let's even that out. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Three-legged dog, but we're keeping the hips closed off. Heel is pointed towards the sky. Toes are flexed and pointed towards the floor. We take a little pulse here. Just a few inches up towards the sky, and everything else stays still. Feeling that in our glute and hamstring, little pulses, maybe 8 times if you have time here. One more, then let it open up, three-legged dog to the sky. Take a bend in the top knee, open up the hips and feel that stretch. Breathe into it. On your next exhale, bring left knee forward into your half pigeon, tucking underneath and with control, lowering to the floor. Keeping the right toes, back toes tucked. Activating this pigeon pose, we press up onto the shin and back toes, nice and strong. Breathe here, turn on the right glute. Push the floor away. Feel that strengthening the hips. Inhale here, you're so strong. Slowly exhale as we lower, lower, lower into the stretch. Untuck the back toes, and you can stay upright or slowly crawl the weight forward over the bent leg into your half pigeon. The breath is our friend always. When we're static and still in a pose, the breath is the only movement, and it's what keeps us safe. Inhale to come back to an upright position if you're not already there. Tuck the back toes under, press hands into the floor, lift the bent leg, controlled, back up to the sky. Big strong stretch, and then let it float back down to the floor in your downward facing dog. Take a few rounds of breath here, wiggle it out. Do what you need to feel good. When you're ready, take a step with the right foot up towards the hands and the top of the mat, and then open up towards the long edge of your mat in a wide-legged fold. Option to bring a block in front of you to support your hands. Try to pigeon toe the feet in slightly and keep the spine nice and long. So this is where we can support ourselves. If the floor is feeling a little too far away, we can use that block. Or you can start to inch your way forward into this fold. Nice and slow, reaching the chest down towards the floor. Breathing here. Plant right hand on the floor or your block right in front of the chest and reach the left hand towards the sky, twisting and opening towards the side. Exhale to bring left hand down, replacing the right hand, and right hand reaches up towards the sky, twisting on the other side. Exhale that hand down, folding once more, chest down to the floor. And then come back up to a flat back. Switch the feet so that are now pointed out at about a 45-degree angle. Toes are pointed out. Drop the hips and bend into the knees, rising into a goddess pose. We're gonna keep our hands right here at our heart and take some pulses here. So your first option is to stay right here in goddess. You will feel this strengthening. If you wanna take a little bit of movement here, we're gonna drop a few inches to feel an increase in the inner thigh stretch. And then as we rise a few inches, we really feel that in our glutes as we press our heels into the floor. So down a few inches, feel the stretch. Press into the floor, feel that strengthen. Down and up, down, keep breathing, and up, down, press up, stretch it down, press in to strengthen. A few more here, and up, keep going. Use your breath. Pressing in, let's go one last time. Feel it stretches you deep and down towards the floor. Exhale as you press the heels in, feel that strengthen. Come all the way up to straight legs, out of goddess. Reach up to a star pose, opening up towards the sky. Everything reaching in all different directions. And then exhale to pigeon the toes once more and fly down to that forward fold. Back down towards the floor, stretch it out. This time, walk the hands over towards your left foot, which should be the back of your mat, and step that foot back. So now we're in down dog, facing the other side of our mat. Breathe it out here. Walk out the dog. Stretch those hammies, reaching the heels towards the floor. We're bringing the right foot forward once more. We're going in a circle. Bring the foot forward, open up towards the other long edge of your mat. So it should be the opposite of what we just did. Taking a little pigeon toe to stretch down as we wide-legged forward fold, just for a moment, before we rise up back into our goddess. So take the toes pointed out, bend the knees, drop the hips, rise up. Again, always an option to stay here. Stay static. Also, an option if you want to try it this time to do the pulses. So sinking down a few inches, feeling that inner thigh stretch, then pressing into the heels, turning on the glutes. Drop a few inches and then press it back up. Using every muscle, taking it nice and fluidly, feeling the connection from your heels into the floor. Constant moving and pulsing up and down. A few more times. I know we're already tired. These legs are so strong, so beneficial. Last one, let's sink even lower. And then press all the way up, out of goddess, into your star, opening up to the sky. And then flat back, pigeon the toes, and fold through to wide-legged forward fold. Amazing job. Walk the hands back to left foot, which should be the top of the mat. Step back to your down dog. Amazing job. I hope your legs feel as stretchy and strong and tired as mine do right now. Hop or step the feet up towards the hands and then sit the bum back and roll your way back onto your spine. Lying on your mat, take left leg out long, straight on the floor, tuck right knee in towards your chest. Pulling that first, keeping the hips closed off. Pull this knee up towards your chest, right in the middle of your sternum, pressing into your tummy. Breathing with it here. And then pulling the hip open and pulling the knee more towards your armpit. Open to the side, keeping left leg completely connected to the floor. Now bringing this right knee across the chest, all the way over to the left side of your mat until it either comes to the floor or maybe on to a block or bolster, so that we can keep this twist but keep our shoulder blades on the floor. Open up the arms to a T or to a cactus and keep this twist as we take the gaze over the right shoulder. Breathe here. Slowly and gently release the twist, bringing right knee back towards the center. Give it one more hug in towards the chest and let right leg extend straight onto the floor. Left knee comes up to the chest. Hug it in tight towards your sternum, right in the middle of your torso. Breathing deep and sending that air right to your hips. Exhale as you open up the hips, this time pulling the knee towards the left armpit, keeping right leg straight and connected to the mat. And then gently drawing the knee across your chest over to the right side of your torso until it meets the floor or your block, and gazing over the left shoulder. Keep breathing into the twist and letting your breath slow. Gently bring the knee back towards center, releasing the twist. Pull that knee in towards your chest one last time. And then bring right knee up to meet it. And your chance here to take a happy baby pose. So we grab the feet from the pinky toe edge, but keep the arms in between your knees. Pulling the knees towards the armpits, extending the feet towards the sky like you're trying to put your footprints on the ceiling, and then pulling the feet and knees down towards the earth, really opening up the hips. Breathing here. If it feels good, take a little rock side to side. And if you're feeling very open in the hip, maybe alternate straightening one leg and then the other. That really taps into the hamstrings as well. And do what feels good. And when you're ready, releasing the feet back down towards the groin, hugging the knees in tight, pulling the shins toward you. Maybe take a little rock side to side. And then when you're ready, letting everything relax down to the floor, extending both legs. Closing off the eyes if you're comfortable. Letting the arms rest down to your sides or on your tummy. Giving your body a chance to just be still. Shavasana is such an important part of our physical asana practice. After we move and twist and strengthen and stretch, just to be still now. I encourage you to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you have time for and need for. Thank you for practicing with me today. If you liked today's flow, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments any videos you'd like to see in the future, and I'll see you next time.